Hi, everybody. This is Mike from KB Radio FM 100.3. We are in the lobby of the Lodge on the Lake, and we are pleased to have a special guest with us right now, Leanne Cronk, who is a real live author, first author we've had come down and visit us today. Hi, Leanne.
Hi. Thank you for having me here. This is my first trip to Kindgdom Bound, and I'm so excited to be here and very thankful to be able to talk about my book with you.
First year at Kindgdom Bound?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ride any rides yet?
No, I've been pretty busy in my booth from 10 to 10 every day, so I haven't gotten to ride any rides, and I don't think I'm going to be able to either.
Right. I'm too afraid to do it, but you have to ride the Ride of Steel. Well, I'm not going to do it. I'll encourage everybody else to, and they can tell me about it, and I'll live through their experience.
I'll keep it in mind. We're probably heading back to North Carolina tomorrow morning, though, so I just don't see how I'm going to be able to fit it in.
Okay, we wanted to ask you a little bit about your book. What's it called?
It's called Chop Chop, and it's contemporary Christian fiction.
Fiction, and what's it about?
Well, it's told from a young man named David's point of view, and it takes place from the time David's in 7th grade until just before he graduates from college. And it's about his friendship with two young people, also his age, named Lacey and Greg. And Lacey and Greg both continually grow their hair out and then chop it off when it's long enough and send it to Locks of Love. And this is just one of the many things about Lacey that really bothers David. Every time she attempts to help other people, and she really has a heart for the Lord, and she really wants to help other people, it always seems to inconvenience David somehow. And he really is bothered by that. But as he matures and grows closer to the two of them, he also grows closer to God, because they both have hearts for the Lord. And as his relationship with them grows, his relationship with God grows as well. And the story progresses. He gets to a point in his life where really everything is just perfect. He's as happy as can be. He feels he's right with God, and that he has everything that he could want. And then there's a tragedy, and he has to deal with that. Yeah, has to overcome.
Is this a book that's geared toward a particular age group, or what would you say?
I'd say that anybody that likes to read. I'd say that anybody that likes to read would enjoy it.
Even the guys, right?
Absolutely. There is a lady on the front. I know that's scaring a lot of guys off. It's a chick book. I met this gentleman. He bought it the first day, and he's done with it, and he's telling everybody about it. And he's, I think, one of my biggest advocates at Kindgdom Bound right now. He's going around telling everybody how great of a read it was. And I really appreciate that. But it's definitely for anybody that likes contemporary Christian fiction. I'd say from teenagers on up.
Okay. And you have more books out, right?
I do. Chop Chop stands alone. It doesn't leave you hanging. When I wrote it, it was never intended to have sequels, but it was such a fantastic experience. And I thanked God for it. I said, if you could let this happen again, I would just love to have, he just totally gave me the book Chop Chop. I mean, I was driving home from work one night, and the whole thing came into my head. I started writing when I got home. I'd been working on another book for 8 years, and I kept telling myself, no, I can't work on this book until I finish this other book. But that other book was me writing it. This one was God. It was definitely from God, and I couldn't stop writing it. And the kids needed dinner, and people wanted laundry done, and for 2 months I was just writing Chop Chop, and it was done in 2 months. So when that was finished, I thanked God. I said, it was just one of the greatest experiences of my life, and I would appreciate it so much if that could happen again. And the next morning, both of the sequels were completely in my head. And I wrote both of those in 2 months each as well. And there will be 7, God willing, by the time I'm done. I've got the next 4 in my mind as well.
Wow.
So it's been a fantastic experience. God has really just, I don't know why, but he has chosen to give me this gift. And it's just been fantastic.
Yeah, I saw your booth. We were walking through the vendor tent, and I saw the cover, and I looked at it, and immediately I knew it was Locks of Love, because my daughter has done that a few times now. And, I thought, a girl book, maybe not. But you did have one with a cover of baseball on it, so I thought, maybe that one looks a little more like a guy would read.
Absolutely, yeah. A little bit that's when David's an adult, and he's there's really a lot of things going on in that third book. It was hard to find a cover that was concise and matched. There were so many things going on. It was hard to pick a cover that covered everything. But one of the things that's going on in that third book is that David is a youth group leader, and one of the young men that he's mentoring was very heavy into baseball, trying to get a baseball scholarship, and that was a good book. That cover gets a lot of attention. People, I think the guys want to jump right to that one, but I'm telling you, the first one's not just for girls.
Now, it took 2 months to write the first book. How many do the next two?
Each of those was 2 months as well. And the last 4, they're taking me much longer. I'm also busy marketing and trying to get, Chop off the ground. And so that's leaving me not quite so much time to write. I also teach full time.
Wow, that's a lot.
You're busy.
Yeah.
3 books in less than a year.
Yes.
And teach full time.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And what do you teach?
I teach until now, I've been teaching middle school math and science. This year, I'm going to be teaching math and language arts. It'll be my first time teaching language arts.
Okay.
But I guess my school figured since I could write that perhaps I could teach language
You're
arts.
a well-rounded individual. Then.
Thank you. Not social studies, so please don't ask me any questions about social studies.
What's the capital of Ohio?
Please,
I'm sorry.
please.
Do not ask
Do
you.
not.
I see.
That is my weak point.
Okay.
Me too. It's just not. My husband said that if the school ever hires me to teach social studies, they're not qualified to be educating young people.
I also saw on your table you have a children's book.
I do. That's Lately's Home. That's an illustrated children's book for kindergarten and younger, I'd say. It's a symbolic tale of the trauma that a child can go through when they're adopted. It's a story about birds. It's biologically accurate. It's about a village indigo bird in Africa. And what they do, the mother goes to the red-billed firefinch's nest and lays her egg and lets the red-billed firefinches raise her babies.
That's the way to do it.
That's what the village indigo birds think. But it can be very traumatic for a child when they're adopted to, even they're going to their forever family, they're going where God intends for them to be, and it's going to be a wonderful life for them. They, a lot of times are leaving a foster family or an orphanage. It's the only home they've ever known, and it can be very traumatic. And so that's what that story is symbolic of, is that trauma that a child can face.
Interesting.
I can almost relate. I have a twin sister. We're both adopted.
Really?
Yes.
How old were you when you were adopted?
Newborn.
Okay, so you didn't have a lot of trauma associated with that, I
No,
hope.
not a whole lot of trauma,
Good,
but I mean,
good.
and my mom always told us we were adopted, and she's always said, if you want to contact your birth mother, and there was, I never had a reason to,
Right.
but I know some people do.
Right. It's I've heard a lot of people come by the booth and talk to me about children they've adopted and similar stories. It's really neat to be here. People just open up to you and tell you the most wonderful things and share parts of their life with you. It's been really neat to hear stories like that.
It was more of a trauma for my mom, I think, because she was divorced, and this is in the 60s.
Right.
And divorced women didn't get a whole lot of adoptions.
Right. So she was single when she adopted?
Yes.
Wow, that is unusual.
That's a challenge, yeah.
Especially back then.
Yes.
Very unusual. Neat.
She had 3 kids of her own, plus us 2, and that's 5, a single mom.
Wow.
She worked really hard.
That's awesome.
Any other books?
Just the other 4 I'm working on. The 4 sequels, like I said, there'll be 7 by the time it's all finished. I think I mentioned I was working on a book. I'd been working on it for 8 years, and that was all me. Yeah, that one's still on the back burner. I don't know if that one will ever get completed or not. God's definitely going to have to step in and
He does
intervene.
help, doesn't he?
Yeah, I need some help if that one's going to. That may not be His will for that one to come to fruition, and that's fine. So I'm thoroughly enjoying the Chop ride right now. So.
Are you planning to come back to Kindgdom Bound next year?
I would love to come back to Kindgdom Bound next year. As I said, I'm from North Carolina. I was born in Buffalo. My husband was born in Corning, but we moved from here when I was a toddler. Moved to Iowa and then to North Carolina. So we have family in the area. We're staying with some family in Arcade and driving up here every day, and it's been wonderful.
Now, they must have fun saying, yes, I'm related to a famous author.
Well, they're related to an author. Not famous yet, but I'm sure this radio broadcast is going to help launch my
it'll
career.
change. You'll see. You'll see the numbers. You'll see it.
Yeah, you might sell one more book. Yeah, that's us.
Yeah. Well, you promised me that you're going to buy your daughter a copy if she.
If my daughter wants a copy, I will get her that book.
Yeah, she's not.
She's nodding her head over
She's
here.
nodding, so that's another sale right there.
Cha-ching. There we go. Good job.
All right, this is Mike from KB Radio 100.3 FM, and we've been spending a little time with Leanne Cronk, who has authored a book called Chop Chop. Thank you for coming and being with us.
Thank you for having me. I hope everybody will come by and see me. It's been great being here.
It was fun. You were our first author interview.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.